His quote is just so outstanding. He says, "Did my genitalia go unnoticed?"
Hello, everyone. Hola, mis amigos. You're listening to Oh My God, Hi, Hijo de Dios. Hola. With me, George Lopez. Porque, ¿sabes qué? Let's do the show. Porque I got a lot of things to do. I gotta go to that dry cleaner ahí. My kid fell. Se pegó la cabeza. I gotta go get some Neosporin Paul. Oh my God, hi. I worked in Northridge at Teledyne in 82. They did like aerospace thing, and there was a guy, his name was Richard Millard, and he was skinny, and he wore like a khaki top and bottom to work. And he'd walk sidewinder and he'd talk like Elmer Fudd. He'd say, "Come, you guys gotta come over here." And he had he bought a Cavalier from the dealership on Devonshire because the guy said, "Listen, man, this car's such a good deal. If you don't buy it, I'm gonna buy it." And he bought it.
Oh, no kidding.
And he was the first person that I ever heard that had IBS. And everybody knew that whenever you saw those little feet and the khaki pants sit down next to you, to get out of there, because that dude was going to blow that thing up before you even knew what IBS was, which I don't even know what's the cause of it.
I have no idea myself.
But that dude... I would go because I was so antisocial that I was reading the No One Gets Out of Here Alive, the Jim Morrison autobiography, and I would go to the last stall during my lunch break and sit in the last stall and read the book. And when Richard Miller came in there, I tell you, man, no one gets out alive. Oh, poor guy, man. Anybody living with IBS or pancreatitis or diverticulitis.
Yeah.
All those things that are just destroy your bowels.
So he wasn't just loud; he aroma. Oh, like smelled horrible. I'd be horrible to have. Oh my God.
One time Ernie said, "Wake me up." We were at my grandma's house. We were going to watch Kiss on the midnight special, and he said, "Wake me up before it starts." So I put my finger right in my culo, the crack. I put it under his nose, like almost like smelling salts. He punched the air. He was sitting down on the carpet like that. And I went like that. He went, and he punched it. You know, you should never get too old to not either have fun or don't ever let anybody disrespect you. Like at the golf course when I hit that ball sideways. You know, I didn't yell four. The ladies were playing, and that guy goes, "Hey, buddy, your ball's over here." And then his wife was talking Spanish to the girls that work at the turn. And she's like, she was like, "Aguacate y también," and I rolled up behind him and I said, "Don't you guys speak English?" And they both smiled, and that lady looked at me and she said, "That ball almost hit us," and I said, "Almost."
Nice.
Keyword.
Yeah, right.
To be that old and to be a piece of shit is you should be quite proud of yourself to just create tension for the sake of creating tension.
Right.
People thrive that way.
They love that shit, man. They just love to. And over there in the desert, old people will go to a restaurant and then complain about the service to try to get a free meal.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
And that's like a routine of.
I had a buddy that did that.
Remember I told you when I worked at the convalescent. I worked at a convalescent home, and I would bring the old guys oatmeal, and they would say, "I'm not hungry." Or I would come back in. I said, "Hey, you didn't eat your oatmeal." And he goes, "I'm not hungry." So I said, "Listen, you fucking old motherfucker. I'm going to walk outside right now, and I'm going to go drop off some linens. I'll be back in 5 minutes. And if that oatmeal isn't eaten and completely gone, I'm going to take that fucking remote, and I'm going to crack you in the middle of your fucking forehead with it. Counting now."
And begin.
Huh? Listen, when a person is an invalid, grab that motherfucker by his wrist and tell him to get his shit together. Okay, introduce. Welcome to.
That's how we started, ladies and gentlemen.
All my thoughts are impure.
That's right.
Don't worry about me. My grandma's like, "What's going on in there? I'm jacking off. What the fuck? What thing's going on?"
And that's how it starts. George's guest today, you've seen him in hundreds of movies.
You know what?
and
You
not
haven't
known
seen him in
have.
hundreds of fucking movies because he's a person that's not known.
That's what I'm saying. You didn't know you saw him when you saw him. He's one of the greatest stunt performers / stunt coordinators in the business, right?
Yeah,
Bond movies, Bourne movies, Guardians of the Galaxy, just to say a few.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been very lucky. Yeah.
All right, the guest today is Craig Frosty Silva. We call him Frosty, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so Frosty and I met, was it 10 years ago, 11 years ago?
Yeah, something like
At
that.
the Chateau Marmont.
Yep.
And he walked over and we just started talking, connected, and I said, "What do you do?" And he was telling me some stories about being a stuntman. And it's funny, man, when you meet somebody that whatever the chemistry is between two people, he and I maybe don't talk all the time, but we always checked in on each other. And that's like a rare thing. Like, I don't do that. But with Frosty, man, it was always like, "Hey, dude, you all right?" And then once we started doing this, I thought, this dude would be a great guy to have on because I don't, I want the people that you wouldn't expect because their lives are fascinating and they're real and they're not bullshit. They're not about money. It's about guts, perseverance, and just a fearlessness that very few people have in life, much less in films. So he's going to be here the whole hour. Did green screen change the stunt?
It can, absolutely, because you can put it anywhere, right? You can do all these stunts. It depends on how they use them. Green screen has really changed, obviously, for superhero films, and, that's all the way they do them now. But it's useful in a certain way. Practical stunts, sadly, the big, huge practical stunts aren't done as much anymore because it's just expensive. There's risk. They do a lot of stuff on green screen. They CG a lot of stuff in now.
They said Sir Ian McKellen, was doing The Ring or one of those movies, and he showed up to work and he was acting with like a piece of tape or a tennis ball on top of a C-stand, and he didn't realize he wasn't going to be working with an actor, that they were going to do that later, and he started crying.
Oh my God.
Because he loved his profession so much, and he's like, is this what it's come down to? Is looking at a piece of tape and talking to somebody who's not there? And he cried.
Yeah, there's the new thing they scan you, so they could put you, technically they have all your information, your body. I mean, it's you on a computer. They could put you in 40 different films.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I did a ton of films this year.
Right?
Did you know?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Did you know that Sam Jackson broke his shoulder, almost could have killed himself?
No.
They were doing a stunt where they were picking him up and he was like in a box, and I don't know why he would be in the box, but then the thing let go and it fell and it crushed his shoulder like a complete break.
Oh wow, no, I didn't know that.
You don't ever want to put your lead actor in a situation like that. There's no reason for him to be in that box.
No, there's a lot of ego, obviously, in this business. The macho-ness, and male and female. It doesn't matter which way it is. Everyone's got a bit of an ego, which kind of drives you, and is kind of what you need in this business. It's kind of what puts you against everyone in the sense of like, oh, I can do this better. I know I could do that. And so you do try to push that side of you. Yeah, but it's. There's a lot of guys that just aren't ready for it. And sadly, when the industry opened up in Atlanta, they wanted to hire locals, and you just don't get the same.
But can you find local stuntmen in Atlanta?
Yeah, they'll make them local stuntmen. And then you have to try to hopefully get, a lot of guys did move out there, so you can find good guys still. But when you want a large quantity of guys, you don't have that option. And that was the problem when the industry started leaving LA. But
when you look at Hollywood and you look at movies, you might talk about like the leading man, like Humphrey Bogart or, Cagney, and you look at like Tom Cruise, you look at George Clooney, or you look at beautiful actresses, but you forget that the magic of making movies and flying and The Wizard of Oz and all those things and movies that like Bullet, Steve McQueen stuff, or Jason Bourne, which I love, that the stunt person, Smokey, all those, the stunt person is almost like, you hear the glue a lot, but it's almost like the plate that holds Hollywood together, because the magicalness of a movie or the mysticism or the lady from The Wizard of Oz is flying and the fucking green makeup almost kills her.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're figuring it out.
Yeah.
That through all the time of movies with the whole larger than life, people forget that that's a stunt person.
Yeah.
And the guy or the girl gets the credit, but that person spent hours and hours and hours perfecting it so they would get it right and it wouldn't go wrong, because when it goes right, it goes right. You don't get credit for going right. But when they go awry,
so dangerous.
Everybody knows, right?
Everyone knows stunt gone wrong is how they normally.
So when you, let's say, run through the preparation of a stunt and how many times some person might do it, a stunt person might do it.
It depends on what it is. Like, say if it's a car, we'll get a stunt person obviously to do that kind of wreck. Unless you're Tom Cruise, which he's the producer of his film, so no one's going to tell him no. Hence, he does do his own stunts. It's tested.
You think it's because Scientologists, like
Right, exactly.
like Xeon is going to come and touch his shoulder? Don't worry, man. You can breathe underwater.
Do you know who I am? I can't get hurt. Okay, in your opinion, I mean, can you even say this because you work on his films? Is he a worthy stunt? Is he a good stuntman?
He's probably done 80% more stunts than a lot of stunt guys. He'd be a great stuntman.
Oh, no kidding.
He actually would, yeah.
Oh.
The guy's a hard worker. I mean, we aren't the same type of person really, but he's the guy's just working, constantly working.
Yeah, it sounds like
So if an actor said, like Tom Cruise says, hey, I want to do my own stunts, he does that because of the realism of the movie, and you don't want to see maybe if he jumps a couple of those things that you did, I'm sure, that you see that it really is him hanging from a helicopter or jumping from a building with a wire and then crashing to the window. I mean, come on, man.
He's brilliant and he's ballsy. The guy will go for it every time, but it's a risk, and you have a chance of, if you hurt your actor, you're done. Your show's done for a while until he gets better, unless you have a great double for him. But it can be trying that way, because there's nothing harder than sitting there waiting for your actor maybe to hurt himself, And as a stunt coordinator, you're trapped. You just have to sit and watch.
Stressful,
this possible tragedy happen.
So we were talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and you said that was really kind of based on Burt Reynolds and Hal Needham, who was a stunt man.
Mm-hmm. And director of like Smokey and the Bandit and Cannonball Run.
And Hal Needham died while doing a stunt, didn't he?
No, he just died of older. Dar Robinson did.
Dar Robinson.
I thought it was Hal Needham. Okay,
yeah.
Dar Robinson.
Dar Robinson sadly passed away.
And what happened to him?
There's a few stories of it. I guess the one I heard was basically it was coming back to one after a stunt, and something happened on the motorcycle he was riding, and he tumbled down a hill, and I guess he got impaled going down that hill, and he bled out before they could get to him. But he was alive and aware until they just couldn't get to him in time.
How did you become a stunt man, and what was the first stunt you did? And then after that, we'll go to some stories.
It's kind of one of those things. Every boy wants to. I'm going to be a stunt man.
But you did when you probably wanted to be an actor.
No,
oh.
I'm pretty shy actually.
Wow,
shockingly, shockingly a bit shy. And I some people just have that skill. I've had too many concussions to remember things, So lines would struggle me a bit. You know what I mean? Because I don't remember as well as I used to.
And what did you see as a kid that said, I want to do that? Like, I remember seeing, Freddie Prinze or whatever, and I said, oh, that's kind of what I want to do. Like, what was your first, oh, shit, that moment?
Hooper.
Right on. Yeah, oh, of course. Yeah.
My brothers, I'm the youngest of 5. So my older brothers were always, they were always the cool one, and I was the secondary guy. I was ski. You know, when my older brother, I'm Sonny Hooper, you're Ski. You know, the sidekick. I'm always the sidekick,
awesome,
you know?
Of course.
And there's always that with older brothers. And so I pursued it, you know. I didn't know how to go about it. And I got a job through my brother's girlfriend at the time, just to be a PA on a commercial. And I networked. I just kept asking, how do I become a stuntman? How do I become a stuntman? You know, everyone wanted to be Colt Seavers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Coolest
and
person on
so
the planet.
I did martial arts growing up, so I figured this is a good transition. I'm too short in films that you never see me fighting, really, because you don't want the little guy fighting the big, you know, you get an actor beating up the little guy. It's not really that cool.
But you're almost like, you're a specialist because you do some really tough stunts.
Yeah, I've been given the ones where basically they're like, well, someone's gonna get jacked up, and my whole thing basically was I get up. No matter what, I've broken things, I'll get up. I'll get up and I'll do it again. I broke my ankle, I duct taped it, and we finished that day. Even when I blew out my knees, you know, you wrap them up and you keep going.
That is a different. We were talking just before we walked in. I said, well, I'm sure a lot of people have no problem doing it once, but after you get your ass kicked, you got to do it again.
What about my fat ass? If I put some fucking mustard on my shirt, I'd go home and not come back. This dude's like fucking wrapping his fucking knee, and I'm like, oh man, look at that fucking ketchup on my shirt.
God.
Fuck you guys. I'm like, I can't. I'm out.
That's a wrap.
And then what's the first? What was the first stunt you did?
First stunt was, you know, the first ones you kind of end up doing for free, right? I did it was in I used to PA on rap videos, and I was still trying to, you know, hustle. And the stunt coordinator, Julius LaFleur, I just kept asking him, hey man, how do I become a stunt guy? And he's like, well, you know, we'll let you do some stuff. Oh, man. So he put me in I Got the Hookup, Master P's film, back in late 90s, I think it was.
Wow.
And I was passenger in a car with Corey Eubanks, who's a great stuntman. He was Luke Duke double in the Dukes of Hazzard days.
Oh, right on.
So the guy's an incredible driver.
Yeah.
And just a really good guy. Yeah, Corey Eubanks, his dad's Bob Eubanks.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
And Bob Eubanks promoted the first Beatles concert at the Hollywood Bowl.
I didn't know that either.
I was about to say that. I'm a huge Beatle fan. So
it's about to.
I'm a huge Beatle fan too.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lennon was my hero. That's everything.
We can talk about that later on. What about when P. Diddy and they did I'll Be Watching You, the Biggie thing, and he was riding the motorcycle?
Oh, he crashed.
And he crashed. Was that really him?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. He was goofing off, and the bike got away from him, and he just tried to ride it out as it's fishtailing, and he smacked the ground hard. Oh. They stopped production for a few hours, and, you know, he did it again. He got back up on it, so to his credit, you know, he got back up on it, but, yeah, it shook him up.
And what was your first stunt?
Let me see. What was my actual first stunt? They threw me down some stairs.
Or somewhere close to the first.
Yeah, I had to do
threw
this.
you down some stairs.
Some metal stairs.
Oh no!
And it was a long way down, and there was just a flat landing in the middle of it, and I had to hop over that landing to continue the stair fall, and then land flat right before camera that was right in front of me on the ground, and not hit camera. I'm like, what? Flopping down some stairs. I don't really have
the brakes. Yeah.
It landed perfectly. It was
right
it made me a hero for the day. Kind
right.
And I was
yeah.
like,
yeah.
Oh, there
and then
go.
you didn't get hurt at all, right?
No, you know the stairs.
Sore.
You're sore. Yeah, not hurt enough to go home.
And then Bill Hammond, who's Cedric's friend and Anthony's friend, he was going to get married. He was walking down some stairs and he tripped and broke his leg and his fucking hip femur. Motherfucker. Fucking 6 steps. And he fucking still got married. That's a fucking sign, eh?
I know, right?
You're walking down the aisle, your fucking compound fracture. Who drove you to the church, Tiger? Okay.
I'm gonna still make it.
All right, let's go to some stories.
All right. So what we do here, our guest is, you know,
Motherfucker.
I want to allow Frosty what we're doing. Frosty Silver's our guest, and what we do here is we do actual news, and these are crazy news stories that we kind of wish weren't real news stories, and they aren't. And this is our first one. This is what really happened.
Hear what he said? I didn't realize you were such a fucking novice, eh, in the world of entertainment.
Surprise!
Huh?
That's me.
I
All right, here's
fucked
our
you out of
first
the secretarial pool. You couldn't even fucking type.
That's right. I'm gonna go into stunts.
All right, let's get.
All right, our first one is outstanding. This one's from Folks Paper. A man sues a Kentucky hospital for $1.2 million after doctors performed a C-section on him by mistake. a C-section
On a
man. A Louisville man called 911 after he thought he had signs of a heart attack at a Kentucky hospital, and doctors performed a C-section on him by mistake. He was a clinically obese man with a history of heart attacks.
You know, sometimes the clinically obese people, like their penis, you can't see it. Like his federal was probably out, and he had the gut, and his pubes were there. And he probably spread bread right there. You couldn't see anything in there.
Bread.
And
spread bread.
And a lot of older ladies are trying to have babies, so he probably had that fucked up hair, and he's laying down there with a big fucking boiler with a lot of pubes, and they're like, we got to get this kid out. He's probably got an umbilical cord wrapped around his neck.
Yeah, his quote is just so outstanding. He says, "Did my genitalia go unnoticed?" Your point exactly. That's what the man said. Oh, yeah, they finally found
thought it was your clit, sir. Gotcha. I'm telling you that she's talking to the hospital. Fucking tell everybody. You're going to hear you down the whole fucking hall.
Big clit, small penis. One of the two. Which one do you want?
Is clit here? Yeah, he's an F7.
Other than the 7-inch clit.
Yeah.
So they did a C-section, but when they opened it up, what did they find in there?
They said the doctors tried to give the 34-year-old man a cesarean delivery and finally found that he was not pregnant and had no uterus. That's what it says. He screamed in pain.
Like my tia.
And they asked me if I wanted anesthesia.
No uterus. George, they took my box out. Hey, tia, what were you? You didn't hear? I had a hysterectomy y me quitaron all my gears, como the transmission, ahí los palitos, the things that look like handlebars.
Oh, my God.
The ovums también,
ovums.
my eggs. They're in the refrigerator. Don't eat them. Okay, next story. That was good.
Oh, gosh. That's outstanding.
I mean, I had meniscus surgery, which I'm sure, Frost, you've had a lot of surgery. Do they make you right on your leg? This is the right leg to operate on. That's what they do now.
I know, but I just had my foot fixed at the start of the year, and I had a broken toe for about 4 years that I just dealt with. And I had to put four pins, 2 plates, rotate the bone over, and this was just at the start of January. So I'm not supposed to really be in a boot and walking around. But
How'd you break your ankle?
It was on Venom doing some rehearsals. Well, it was already broken from other injuries, but I was still working, and it was in the scene where Venom's learning how to use he's becoming Venom. So Hardy comes out the window, 3-story window drop. So I jump out the window as I'm dropping. It's on rehearsals. He kind of uses his arm to swing himself over this balcony. And as I'm going, the gag is as I swing over the balcony, I jump over the railing and then hit this glass and go through the glass. But at first they wanted me to wreck on the balcony, so I would just tumble, no problem. And that's just some guy on a quick release. Basically, as my line gets over, he releases me so I can drop. Otherwise, I'm just going to swing high and into everything. So this guy instead, he dropped me early. So I stabbed into the railing of the balcony, and it bent the top of my foot flat to my shin.
Oh, shit.
And yeah, you have about 2 hours. 2 to 3 hours before you really start feeling that really badly. So if you need to, you can get those rehearsals done quick.
Oh my God, it's incredible, man.
Unbelievable. And then you shake it off, right? It took you months to even deal with it.
Yeah.
You just worked with it.
Yeah, it just hurt for a little bit and you deal with it, yeah.
Is that because, well, I guess if you look back at the beginning of movies, if somebody got hurt, they kind of had to do it again, or else you get fired if you're not going to do it again.
Yeah.
So then from the inception, if you hurt yourself, you do it again. So then you get the reputation of being really durable, but
and
in
reliable.
reality, and reliable. And in reality, every day you wake up, you're in pain.
Yeah, I've never missed a day of work, and I got impaled 20 feet in the air on The Last Indiana Jones on a rehearsal. 17 stitches, 12 staples. I show up to work the next day. I'm like, hey, guys.
Oh, my God.
You're not supposed to be here, are you? Yeah, I guess I am.
This dude's phenomenal, man.
So if you're hurt, okay, say you got stitches. So 9 times out of 10, when you do another stunt, you're going to blow those stitches, right? So
yeah, that's why you get staples. Staples.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to get staples.
Mr. fucking 9 times out of 10 over here.
I had a C-section.
You're fucking too much, man.
I had sort of a C-section story similar to that.
No, but that's later. Okay, I mean, all of it. And yeah, all that stuff is just amazing to me. Because who doesn't want to be in the glory? Like, either a daredevil or, you try to jump off your house into the pool. And now with Instagram, you see really all those times that people miss, where people are drunk trying to do stuff.
Oh, yeah, right? Busting out those, then trying to jump on tables and shit.
Yeah, I mean, people are more talented than they ever were right now. All the free runner kids, all the guys doing all the tricking and stuff.
Yeah.
Problem with the new young stunt guys, they don't like to hit the ground. They're afraid of the ground.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah, you got to kind of, they go to the old guys. Will you do that? Yeah, of course I will. That's my job.
Okay. All right, what's the next one?
All right, this is one of the smartest criminals ever. This was for CBS Pittsburgh. Westmoreland County man is facing multiple charges after police say he falsely reported his vehicle as stolen, then set it on fire. Man falsely reports his vehicle as stolen and then Googles, actually they found on his Google history, how to set your car on fire and make it look like an accident.
How to set your...
Geniuses.
So, this poor guy, he wanted to get a deal on his car, right? So what they did is...
What do you mean get a deal on it? Why would he lie? He was behind in payments? Or
for insurance. Like earlier this month, state police said a 54-year-old Donald Cassidy of West Newton reported his vehicle as stolen. A few days later, the vehicle was found, and it had been set on fire beyond recognition. So the only way they could tell was his car was through the VIN number. Then they, after taking his phone and executing a search warrant, police say a look through his Google history turned up the search, how to set your car on fire and make it look like an accident.
You would think you just think a little further in it.
But people are so stupid that they think like, they say, hey, give me your phone, it's locked. Like you're gonna get away with that. But they do all of that recon. Like I follow that guy, Chris Watts, the guy in Colorado that, killed his wife and his kids. And he was dating some girl at work, and when it went down, she deleted all of her texts from him and all the pictures from him. And the cop said, why would you do that? And she was like, well, he lied to me. And I was like, I don't want anything to do with this guy anymore. But in reality, she destroyed evidence. And then they were trying to still get the text from her. And when she walked in the first time, she goes, I'm not in trouble, am I? Because I deleted all that stuff. And really, it's obstruction of justice.
Absolutely.
And she just disappeared.
She got away with it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, no, she's still walking around.
When I had a situation with somebody that was kind of stalking me, and I had the messages, and I called the FBI, and I said, hey, I got this person bothering me. I had a case on some other people. And they said, well, bring in your phone, and we'll do a dump. We'll dump it. We'll dump all of the messages that you have, your whole history. And then I said, we don't have to do that.
That's so great, right? Wait, what are you doing
I don't
there?
want anybody to know where I get my pan dulce.
What? Yeah.
There are all kinds of oils in there, and panocha, vergas, everything.
Spreading bread, my favorite
bread.
comment ever.
The kid born with 3 oils down there, it's like a food court. The only thing they didn't have down there was a Panda Express.
Beautiful.
There's some wild things. Okay, so if you try to like me, allegedly have a neighbor that has some trees that are bothersome, and I've looked up how to kill a tree without anybody knowing. So, and plus I just said it.
I know there's just a few million people listening.
Yeah, they have an ill tree.
And
No
you
one's
can't,
gonna tell.
people have been, they poison trees, and then you could. I mean, I wouldn't, but people poison animals if they did like that. So back then you wouldn't know. You give a dog a grape, he'll die. But
It's shocking.
and now you know that if a dog died, that the person would do the autopsy, and then they find one of these in his culo,
Oh my God.
and Big Daddy's going away.
At least he went out with
Don't even
style.
think of it.
At least he went out with
A
style.
silver bullet right at his culo.
Yeah, those are hard to get in.
He
and
almost
out.
talked. Almost got him to say, I'm hungry.
You do not have COVID.
Yeah, so you can't
We tested.
you can't be slick with all of that stuff. Like, I guess I could say it now. I've had 2 phones for a long time, and people say, why do you have 2 phones? Well, I'm a writer and a producer. But really I was to keep things separate.
Better way to
Not
do
for
it.
everybody.
And then I remember years ago there was a comedian on stage, and he was talking about that sometimes guys have 2 phones, and he was out there doing it, and after the second night, every comedian pulled him aside and goes, come over here, man. drop that fucking bit right there tonight. Don't ever fucking do it again. How come? He goes, because, there's people out there, man. There's guys out there that have 2 phones that may have a situation with a wife that they're on the fringe, and you say that, the wife looks at him, and the wife's like, give me your phones, and unlock them.
Instantly.
And you're in trouble.
Yeah, right.
Because if you look for something, you'll find it. I mean, I'm sure there's fat people that have cakes and shit. It's relative, Like I would have chonchos and panocha, tetas, all that. But somebody who's obese would have some eclairs and all that shit. Entenmann's and, that's their porn, A fucking guy, walking with a fucking pizza. Oh, there's another table.
Oh, my God.
Okay, the ragu. Okay.
All right, well, here's one after my own heart.
Have you been tested for COVID?
Yes, I have.
You've gotten your shots?
No, I haven't gotten the shots. I've gotten tested, so I've gotten the
I've been tested
the
like 10
nose.
times.
Oh.
You're good?
Yeah. I've gotten them.
You got the shots?
No.
The test.
The test, yeah. When I did the film I did last year, they would go into your nose, out your nose, and it'd tickle the back of your brain. Right. And that same one would go in your throat. Right
oh,
after.
what?
That was the only time that whole entire film we did that, and I've never done it since that way. But
that's like pouring ass to mouth.
Exactly.
You can't go in the nose and into the tongue.
Gross, yeah.
A little chapstick on the edge of that thing after a while.
Like you do ass to mouth, you're like, ah.
Oy, that's so nasty.
And my tia, that's what I do, George.
You just want to make out for a bit, right?
I wonder what they called it. Now I
cool,
know.
Right? It's cool.
It was cool. I call it like surf and turf that we need. The fucking Der Wiener Schnitzel over there. Okay.
Here's our next one. Journaltimes.com.
One time when we were little kids, there was a used Kotek.
Oh my!
In the alley, sometimes they throw the trash away, and the Kotek fell out of the trash, and it was a long one with the 2 little straps, right? The 2 things, and and the word spread through the neighborhood, so every boy who had a bike was over there in the summer, looking at this Kotek, writing circles around it, like looking at it. And then after like 3 days, we finally got the nerve to turn it over to see if it was used. And then we got this little kid, Daryl, to use it as a headband and pretend he was Will Chamberlain. Okay. What's the next one?
Oh, my God.
That was a dude that honked when he talked. Hey, you kids. He talked. He had a Daryl Vaughn.
I've never met this kid, but I've been imitating him for about 15 years. Hey, you kids. Hey, you kids. You can't not do it after George does it. Every time you see kids, hey, you kids. And I've never seen the kid. Poor Daryl.
Just say it after every sentence.
I had a joke where my mom was making a sandwich and she bent over. You could see the string, and I pulled it. And she's like, "I can." Remember that was chasing me around with a microphone.
And then you would run around like a firecracker.
We thought they were firecrackers. You pull them, and the microphone just falls. And all my friends are all disappointed. It's not fucking duds. After you got these at Tijuana.
Oh God, it's funny.
How to celebrate your independence with some fucking. What was the long one?
God, I'm going to M80s.
M80s, yeah.
The M80.
Yeah, the old M80s. All right.
But yeah, what was that last story? I forgot. Already this fucking big. Hey,
yeah, we're
so
rolling.
This is my. I know you're not drinking because of Lent, right?
Yeah.
But
that was the butt COVID test.
Yo, dude, I'm already.
I feel. Thank God I didn't drive.
Yeah.
I did not drive today, so
I drove. I'm a fucking crash.
Hey man, don't care.
God forbid.
And I'll get out like Frosty.
What am I gonna do next
I'll
Monday?
get out like Frosty. I was a stunt. I'm doing Jason Bourne Sanchez. Cut. You get out. In the car. You hit somebody's house. And you get out. Cut. Check the gate. Just pretend it's a fucking movie.
Just leave.
Check the gate.
Check the gate. They want a justice plan.
Pretend that.
Beautiful. Well, your friend Steve Vai held a guitar cord so long that he had to undergo surgery. A professional guitarist. He was working on it so hard.
Yeah,
Yep.
I know.
You ever met Steve Vai?
No, I've never met him, but I know of him. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he said he won't be playing for a while following his recent trigger finger surgery, which he attributes to holding a tricky cord for too long.
Listen, I love Steve Vai, but that motherfucker said, I won't be playing for a while, like people are waiting. You know what, motherfucker? There's some things that are better left unsaid.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, I love him.
He's
a beautiful individual.
And you've talked to him before. You had.
Don't try to make it worse. But, you know,
You had a conversation with him before.
I did.
Yeah.
He played at, you know, he's an incredibly talented guitar player.
Yeah.
Ralph, listen, if you believe Ralph Macchio could beat him in Crossroads.
Oh, come on, man. That's acting.
That fucking Ralph Macchio. So Ralph Macchio beats Steve Vai, and then in Karate Kid, he has the fucking lady thighs and he kicks that dude's ass.
He beats up Johnny. Johnny would have kicked his ass in real life. I'd have to believe.
Yeah, but Steve Vai, so he held an. I don't know about that one, man. I don't know about that one because, I mean, how long do you hold a note? Just until
He said it was tricky, and he said it was his thumb.
Until
So
people
his
show
thumb
up?
was reaching over. So he held it too long. And you know what trigger finger is? You probably know what it is. It's when your finger actually gets stuck,
Oh, yeah.
bent, and then it kind of just goes straight or way bent.
that's
You're
true.
kinda-
A lot of guitar players.
I get that too, yeah.
Yeah.
I got the double jointed
Oh,
thing.
well,
You
you
know,
got
so,
everything
yeah.
going on.
Yeah, I got a lot of
Oh, my God.
You know, I think Frosty could have fucking been Houdini in another life. This motherfucker's
No
shoulder
kidding,
can come
right?
out. You know, he can put it. You know, he can take his fucking leg off and give it to you, and then after the podcast, hey, bro, I'm going. You know, I'm headed out to Studio City. Do you mind if I have my fucking leg back?
Yeah.
Like this dude has been in so much pain.
This is true.
And what type of women do you ever been married?
I have been married, yeah. I just recently divorced.
Oh,
But we're still good friends. I mean, yeah, she's still.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hate when people fucking say that.
we're still good friends?
Well, it's a different. We didn't get divorced for like your normal reasons. I kind of was. I went through a thing and I became a bit of an asshole. So.
Oh, well.
She just got tired of me.
Oh,
being an
that.
asshole.
Yeah.
Shit, if that was
makes you a male.
If that was grounds for divorce, nobody would fucking be married.
I was going to say.
They fucking Noah's Ark trying to find two people fucking together.
I went through this thing. I was a little bit of an asshole.
I just swore.
But you know,
five push-ups. Okay,
drop it.
all right,
So,
so-
Frosty, if he swears, he's how many push-ups? 5.
Just 5, but anywhere I am.
And he's doing them like nothing.
Yeah, he does the old foot cross, like I'm a professional push-up guy.
Oh no, I have a broken toe. So
Oh,
I
well, there's that.
I can't
We
bend
didn't do
the
it.
toe, so I have to.
How
elevate
great
it.
is that?
So when I this is here's a good. I don't think I told this one. So when Rocky came out, Rocky back in the day, you're too young, Frosty. So Rocky came out, and everybody went to go see it. And I was in 10th grade, and I went with my grandparents to Sepulveda Drive-In. My grandparents to see Rocky.
Very familiar.
I'm in 10th grade with my grandparents. My grandmother and grandfather fall asleep in the front seat, and I'm watching Rocky from the back seat. And I go to the snack bar, and they have a T-shirt that has Rocky with the thing like a black T-shirt. So they let me drive home from Sepulveda, which is all the way down Sepulveda to Mission Hills, probably like 10 miles. So they're in the back, both asleep, you know, immigrants in the back there. I could have put them both in the trunk. The trunk, they probably would have slept longer. So we're here. We're in L.A. to get out. So I was in class with these seniors in high school, and they see me like at 12:30 in a Riviera on Sepulveda at a light by myself, and I look over, and it's the people in my class, but they're seniors. So they look at me, and they're looking at me like, is this fucking 10th grade motherfucker out at 12:30 at Riviera by himself? My grandparents were asleep in the back. It made me look like I was the coolest.
Right, but little did they know you're carting your grandparents around.
So then everybody wanted to be Rocky, so I started to run in the morning and play the song. Da, 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 da. So I cracked a couple of eggs, raw eggs, and I put them in a jar. And when I drank them, that fucking yellow shit shot out of my flat,
God,
like
that's
fucking
awesome.
all over. Oh my God!
That's
Like I don't know what that was about, but if you ever drank a raw egg,
I did it just because I
Man.
watched
yeah,
Rocky.
because
'Cause of
Rocky gave
that's
it a shot. Yeah.
It's grotesque.
Oh,
I
So
think they
nasty.
say it's for protein, right? You get the I don't know.
now I feel bad for all the ladies in the gray Swiss smile. Okay, so what's the next one? To all the ladies in the place with styling.
Okay, here let's move on. Man, this shit has got a brother. This thing took a hold of me.
Frost, you picked the wrong time to be religious.
God bless
I
America. This
did.
stuff is not kidding around.
This stuff.
All right.
Huh?
I was in debate of giving myself an excuse. Like it was. This
Well,
is
you gave
kind-
up so much other shit. I mean, stuff.
Yeah.
Do I do 5
Yeah,
push-ups
I'd
now?
be doing
I don't know. I'm slurring.
push-ups. I'd be doing push-ups.
Maybe you could just give yourself a day off. All right, here's what. Speaking of that, the JournalTimes.com
at it.
reports that 3 drunk drivers all crashed into each other in Mount Pleasant after 2 a.m. That is Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin.
Well, at least they found each other.
3 cars driven by drunk drivers crashed into each other at an intersection on Highway 11 and 32 in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin, early Sunday morning. All 3 men have been arrested, and at least one, whose SUV ended up being fully engulfed in fire, was treated at the hospital. So,
But has that ever happened before? I've never heard of that. Drunk dudes have had to have run into each other.
but it's all 3, everybody involved, and one guy left. One dude
Last call. Fuck, I'm out.
phoned out. Well, I wouldn't read this, but I'm a little
asked that guy, is this car drivable? His whole fucking front end. That's almost like they said, Tiger, you think you could drive yourself to Cedars? Motherfucker. I rolled 10 times down this hill.
Oh, my God.
I never thought. Remember the highway patrol told that guy we got hit last Friday.
Yeah, we got in an accident last Friday, yeah.
And the car just fell apart. His car fell apart. And the cop said, is it drivable? They started up and every shit flies everywhere.
There was no way this guy, and he was going to make the
As a little
guy
19-year-old white kid, I thought I
Yeah.
hit fucking Katie Lang. I said, oh, I'm a Katie. I thought it looked like Katie Lang. And
He's all, give it a try.
it
He
said
looked like a cop.
it said 5'10" on his license. Fucking 74 pounds. A fucking 19-year-old boy.
He was a rail. Poor
74
kid.
pounds.
I felt so sorry. And then think of it, that you rear end someone, you feel bad enough, and then George Lopez walks like, fuck.
This guy's gonna make
This
me
is going to be
show.
bad. But
I don't think he knew it was me. Was it?
oh, yeah. At first he didn't realize, and then afterwards he did. And, it was, George was crazy cool to the guy, so.
Well, he's lucky.
Yeah.
He hit you.
So anyway, so what happened was is one guy was drunk and another guy was drunk, and they're going opposite ways on. I would read this, but I can't. They're going opposite ways on a highway, and one guy swerves out of his lane, so they go head on.
No, try to read it. Let's hear. But don't. Yeah, drinking and driving is pretty bad. That's the one thing that you don't want to do, and too many people do. Too many people do it. Yeah.
Right.
You don't want to lose somebody.
And nowadays there's so many ways to
Uber
not do that.
and,
Yeah.
It's too easy.
And Latinas, that's how they. If you tell them, like, if we're going out drinking, all 3 of us, you have a Latina, and she'll be like, "Hey, if you fuckers drink too much, don't be calling a fucking Uber. Put that shit on my card. Huh?
I know, that's
Take them fucking back streets like a real fucking man.
be a man and drive drunk.
You go to a concert at the Forum, it takes you fucking 3 weeks to get back to fucking Encino."
He says a Ford F-250 pickup truck was heading southbound on Highway 32. It drifted into the northbound lane, heading straight for a GMC Yukon SUV. The driver of the Yukon attempted to swerve to avoid the oncoming pickup, but was still hit head-on. Moments later, a Chevrolet Equinox driving northbound on Highway 32 hit the pickup truck. So these guys went head-on, and then this guy runs into both of them. And the guy.
I think the third dude did it. He was like, "Woo!" He took his fucking hands off the wheel.
And it was the
At
guy.
that point, he's like, "Fuck it."
Was he the guy that ran off?
The guy who ran off was the guy who got hit the second time. He got rear-ended the second, and he just boned out because I think that was his third, as they say, OWI.
You ever heard Walter Cronkite say, and in Vietnam, on the Ho Chi Minh Trail, Americans boned out.
they boned out.
They're returning to the United States.
Hey, Walter Cronkite, that is the news. It said the drivers of the Ford F-250 and the Chevy Equinox remained on the scene, but both showed signs of impairment and were arrested on suspicion of OWI, operating while influenced.
What happened to the guy with his truck burning down?
Is that OWI?
That's the dude who ran. That's the guy who took off. Yeah.
Did he just leave his truck there?
He just left. Oh, they got him. Oh, they got him later because that was his third DUI.
That's not a good way to go.
Yeah, that's right.
Not like that.
No.
Well, I mean, and then you flee the scene.
I mean, he
ugly.
hit 2 cars that just crashed.
But there's I know.
How bad
But
was
there's
he?
people. There's people
You're not
that.
paying attention.
But as easy as it is to not drive while you're impaired, a lot of people still do it, right? They
Yes.
still do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It happens all the time, every single day. I mean, you think you have a couple beers and you think you're okay.
One time I went to see Mark Anthony at the Universal Amphitheater, the black Porsche I have, all black. And I went over there and I went out there on stage with him and I was drinking tequila with him and some Coors Lights. And I really lived very close to the amphitheater. So I took a turn on Cahuenga. I'm going on Cahuenga, hired patrolman, gets off, hits the lights right by Carl's Jr. right there on Cahuenga. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I mean, not hammered, but I've been drinking. Black Porsche, all black. I roll the window down. The cop looks in, recognizes me, and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry. have a good night. And he fucking drove off, and I'm like,
Man.
I yelled at him, I'm fucked up, come back! I couldn't believe it. I could have gone home, just never put it in gear, just in neutral all the way. He let me go.
That's
Blessing that
unbelievable.
way, isn't it, man?
I had a little story I'll tell you really quick.
But when I told Bryan, I went to a bachelor party. My friend Ernie would always get mad when we made fun of him. We would always make fun of his mom. And on Balboa, we went to a bachelor party when we were 19, and they had a porno that they were showing on the wall, like a sheet on the wall, like a stag film. And they show a lady that was fingering herself with all these pelos. That I said to him, as all the guys are watching, I go, so what, Ernie? Your mom can't find her keys? And he fucking took off. He took off and he left me there. And I had to walk home like 4 miles all the way down Laurel Canyon. And the dudes laughed so hard. So, Ernie, your mom can't find her keys.
Oh my God.
So anything. So I forgot this one. At Alcatraz, me, Guillermo, and Ernie went to Alcatraz. When my mom was in Sacramento, we went over there. They went to Alcatraz. So from a parking lot, there's a guy with smoking the bear hat in Park Service. He's talking about Alcatraz, and Alcatraz called the Rock. You know, these three guys may have escaped. Nobody's sure. He goes and Babyface Nelson and Al Capone and the Birdman of Alcatraz have been there. And then he goes through all the criminals, and then he says, "Any questions?" And then my friend Guillermo holds his hand up. He goes, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Was that criminal N.A. there?" And he said, "I'm sorry." He goes, "N.A. was a gangster N.A." And he goes, "No, I don't think N.A. was there." And then Ernie goes, "What's N.A.?" He goes, "Nipple Ariano." That was his last name.
God.
That was his mom, Nipple Ariano.
And how old was he when he said that?
20, 19.
I would never have the balls
We
to
would
say that. That's
always, and the guy's like, "I'm
Right.
sorry, I don't know who." And I go, "Hey," we go, "Who said that? Nipple Ariano?" Oh, he took off. Left us again.
Left us again.
Oh, gosh. Well, that's the actual news.
Yeah, the world.
good.
Well, now we get to actually, this is a great portion of the show where we get to listen to actual voicemails, right? Oh. We got to put our headphones on to listen to them, but these are actual listeners of the show, and they ask questions of George.
And were you two motherfuckers not doing me?
And if exactly, and if you guys want to call in and ask George a question or some advice, it's 818-533-1843. So here we go. And the
If
first
you were
one,
going to ask me for advice, what would it be? Because we've known each other a long time.
for advice, I would ask you, if you're thinking about getting married,
Oh, no.
you have the greatest advice about getting married. He really, I didn't listen to it. If you're thinking about getting
I
married,
didn't listen to it.
seriously, what is your first impression of someone on set who says, "We're engaged to be married"? What's the first thing you that comes to your mind?
What's mine?
Yeah, of course.
Fucking misery.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody said to me, I said to somebody, "You ever seen somebody get killed? You ever see somebody die?" And they said, "I never have." I said, "I did." "You did?" "Yep." I was staying in Hawaii at the Four Seasons, and I had a balcony that overlooked the water, and I saw a guy walking down, and he walked up to a bunch of people, and then there was a woman there, and they like exchanged rings, and then after that, nobody saw him. He disappeared.
He's gone forever.
All his friends never saw him.
I told George I was
listen,
in love, and he just told me like, "Don't."
Whatever problems you have when you're dating, which everybody has problems.
Mm-hmm.
People still go down that path, and you think you're either going to correct it. You're like Evel Knievel in the air. I can just do this. No, you think you can correct it once you get in the relationship, but it doesn't become easier. It's always hard. And I think in business, in your business, I don't know what your wife did, but when you have to be away, or when we have to be away, I don't want to say, but when a guy works during the day and he leaves at 7:45 and he's back at 4:15 every day, you can expect a certain amount of responsibility from that guy. But you might be home a month, I might be home a month, you might be home a month. But when we go, our hours don't adhere to any regular schedule, but yet women hold us accountable as if we had jobs that didn't have emotion or pain or pressure, and you can just roll in home and then just integrate yourself into, and that's not it.
Yeah.
And we don't get credit for that. Like, you know, I have a dark side. When I was dating Ann, she knew I had a dark side, and yet when we got married, she wanted the dark side to go away. It didn't go away. It just got darker.
It's party. I mean, it's part of you, right?
It really kind of is what drives people. Isolation, and, you know, because anybody who's really talented, I mean, listen, Frosty, like, what kid grows up and says, you know, I want to do something where I fucking bust my ankle and it's almost touching my shin? I mean, nobody. So there's something of attention, but I think in your business where only the failures get recognized and not the successes.
A lot of the time, sadly, yeah.
And you just become a reliable person, you know, like a reliable, that he can do this and walk away, but yet, like, he's busted up.
And even if you don't walk away necessarily, the production never heard about it. And that's where they are happy with you, you know, because I'd never say I'm hurt, no matter what.
Right, you just don't want to ruffle anybody's.
I don't get it. Well, you don't want to have that reputation as a stunt guy. Oh, that guy's always broken, right? We can't use him. He's broken again. Even if I'm broken, I can still outperform a lot of people. So I'll just keep going. And not by talent. I mean, they're usually a lot more talented than me. I just have a lot more heart.
So, yeah, a couple more balls.
What about those putos that try to go over Niagara Falls in a fucking barrel? Like, there's no. You think there's any fucking training to that? Get in this Pabst Blue Ribbon keg, and we'll see you at the fucking outlet mall down there. You wash up on shore, right? That's shit.
That's crazy.
You just go for it.
You just get the bounce. Or
I think there's suicidal people that do that one. I think they're always like, well, if it doesn't make it, I kind of achieved my thing anyway.
Right? And if I make it, I'm a hero.
Yeah.
Have you been whitewater rafting?
Oh, yeah. I've been, a few times.
Now, I wouldn't go whitewater rafting because I'm afraid that, you know, I would drown or hit my head on a rock.
Oh.
You know, you see a little, then 6 weeks later, they find a little palito. With these fucking glasses up, I fucking throw like that. You know,
it's intense. It's
even Schlitterbahn.
Schlitterbahn. Oh, come on.
Water with piss, caca flying around it.
The lazy river?
Huh?
Oh, yeah. That's just all urine.
Urine.
And now the hepatitis group, you're next.
It's like the Philippines.
Yeah.
You you touch the water and rub your eye, you're fucking blind in that eye. Okay, let's
listen to a voicemail or two, shall we?
Caca in your eye.
Oh, we got to put our headphones on.
We got to get the guitars too.
Oh, okay. All right, let me get the guitar.
Frosty plays too.
I know, damn, Frosty.
Frosty, you got to play a little bit.
Sure.
Here, you hang on to mine.
I'll let you guys start warming up.
Here's a bit. And you have to give me another sentence so I could write another song on the fly.
Was that what you guys do?
I did. Did I do it last week? Which one was it?
Yeah, it was last week, I think. I'll go on this way.
All right, give me that. And this is something I wrote called "That's All Right, Mama." Come on.
Yeah. Has these 3 chords. I like that you carry guitar picks with you.
Okay.
Cool.
It's a little.
Something in the way she blew. Okay.
Here's a strap if you want.
Attracts me like no other cholo.
Yeah, George just gave it to me.
Oh, Frosty shows up with a pick in his
all
pocket.
fucking baboso over here, right? Huh?
Where'd you get that pick, man?
Fucking Richard O'Toole over here. He's all fucked up.
Yeah.
One beer, he's gone.
Seriously. Man, you guys look fantastic with those
I'm
guitars.
so envious that I'm not having beer with you.
I'm sorry. I'm going to do 5 push-ups.
Yeah.
Theo, what's your favorite group? Seals and Crocs. Seals and Crocs.
Oh, shit. Okay, I got to get my headphones on. I keep forgetting. Okay, is everybody in?
Sure.
All right, Frosty needs to.
Let's
you need your, you got to have your things on. No?
All right, well.
Yeah,
Give me a sentence so I can write a song.
Everybody leave me alone.
What a cheery
All
song.
right, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Everybody leave me alone.
Oh, wait, get it. Here. All right.
I'll just follow him.
Yeah.
Pulling on my bone and my tia walks in. I said, tia, leave me alone. Okay, let's go to some voicemails.
Grant, our engineering producer, is going to throw us one right now.
How did you start playing guitar, Frosty?
My
rehab?
While I was healing. My older brothers were always in bands. So my
right
brother
on.
Dante, he's an amazing drummer.
Let's hear you play a little bit.
We'll do,
It's a G. It's a beautiful G and a beautiful D. Beatles, man.
Here, this is for
It's a
you,
little
Bryan.
Norwegian wood.
Yeah, with the flat end.
He once blew a guy, or shall I say, he once blew me. Okay.
Yeah, I get nervous now.
Nah,
I
you
got
already
put on the
proved yourself.
spot.
You're fine.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
fine.
it's fine.
You know a little Beatles. That's cool.
That's a fast version of Live Forever.
Oh, well done. Well done. Man, this is nice. I'm like, it's like a concert for me. Mine fell over.
I'm on my second one.
Are you?
Yeah.
May I?
Yeah.
Because since
can't.
Frosty's not,
I can't. I wish.
I'm taking the train
How
home.
about this one? This is a little one from Gordon Lightfoot. If you could eat my culo, what a tale my tale would tell. Just like some calzones tocagados that you found in a wishing well. Okay, that's it. All right, let's go to the.
Calzones Coca is my favorite.
If you could
Line.
eat my culo.
Okay, here we go. Here's our first one. And I wanna.
Lopez. Ciao. Want to let you know I'm 38 years old, calling from Albuquerque, New Mexico, senor. And every day before I go to work, I watch your show syndicated on PBS. It's a pleasure to enjoy the laughter, the comedy, and also the real-life experiences that us Chicanos, Mexicans, Latinos, Hispanics endure every day. Senor, mucho gusto. I
ass.
love everything that you do, brother. So thank you very
no.
much.
Ass.
Oh no.
And God bless you and everything you do.
Oh my God.
Later,
It wasn't a
Vato.
question, was it?
You know what? That's very nice. Listen, Latinos don't have a lot of, people to be proud of.
Next. Next
And
voicemail.
he just left it at that. My parents will be
Beautiful. I
happy.
like it.
My parents will be happy to hear that.
Yeah. So Albuquerque, yes, we've done a lot of movies in Albuquerque and all that stuff. So it's a great state of it. You've done stunts
Mexico?
there. What stunts have you done in Albuquerque?
I did Gamer with Gerard Butler. I did that film there. Two Guns.
What was that stunt? Do you remember?
I was assistant stunt coordinator,
Okay.
but I did a bit of everything. I broke my shoulder in it.
Oh, good.
You know what? As a coordinator, has a stuntman ever said, I don't think I'm feeling this thing?
Yeah, it's shocking to me. I've never said no, and I don't understand when a person, they know what they're getting into. Like, it's not just thrown at them on the day, We rehearse these things, and then suddenly on the day, they're like, I'm not sure if I can do that. What happened to the 2 weeks we had you on? You should
Right.
have probably said it then.
Hey, do you know my stuntman Eddie? What's his name? Eddie?
Eddie Fernandez.
Eddie Fernandez. So, Eddie Fernandez, we did an episode of my show where I was putting in a fan in my mom's bathroom, and I fall back and fall in the bathtub, which I never thought I would do it. I said I would, but and then Eddie showed up, and he kind of looks like me, put him in the same clothes. So he's been my guy for, like 17, 18 years.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
And he did a thing in the Johnny Depp movie where, you know about that one? Where Johnny Depp was the Indian guy. Was that? What was the movie?
Lone Ranger.
Lone Ranger. So he got thrown out of a moving train. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And the camera bumped on the rail, and they had to do it again. And Eddie said that he did it again, but he didn't remember doing it again.
Ooh, yeah.
Just dangerous, man. Like he said, yeah, I did it twice, but I didn't. I have no recollection of the second one at all. And the director would be like, "Let's go again, real quick," and you have no recollection. That's pretty dangerous. That's a pretty dangerous thing to do.
Yeah.
To somebody and not check if somebody's, are you all right? And
Yeah, but what would Frosty say? Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah,
He's
you give
all
a thumbs up.
Jacked up, right?
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me.
I did a thing on Gamer, and I flew out of a hole, and I flew 25 feet through the air spinning, And it was a last minute thing. They're like, well, can we put a big explosion when you first leave? And I'm like, well, that's my face.
Oh.
I'm not the best looking guy, but I kind of like my face.
Wow.
And so I put a fire hood on, so now I can't see where I'm landing. And I missed my landing bit, smacked onto cement 25 feet away, shattered my rib. And I remember I had to get up, and the guys are like, you all right? I'm like, I can't breathe, but yeah.
Oh,
Man.
I mean, what kind of job is that? Like, I mean, I'm sure it's, like, and nobody knows it's you. They think it's, fucking Gerard Depardieu.
All right. They're like, that part where you did that backflip was fantastic to Gerard, and you don't get
Get
anything.
nothing,
Yeah,
no.
right. Yeah.
Okay, is there another?
yeah, let's go to the
somebody
next-
who's not a mamon.
Hi, George. My name is Patrick from San Jose, California, and I want your advice on how to deal with internet trolls online.
That dude sounds like a guy that's going from house to house tickling culos. Huh?
I'm not exactly sure what a mamon means.
They're gonna find a lot of chicken bones in his trunk. A mamon is like a suck up. So
That's what I was thinking.
I just think internet trolls, right? You don't pay attention. But that guy's not a guy who's known, so I don't know what trolls he would have. It's not like when somebody's known and they're just doing it for, because it's anonymous, which is
And they want a celebrity to write them back.
or
Even if
to
they
block
call
you.
them.
Like a lot of those,
Score, yeah.
a lot of
Big
those
score.
kids just want to get blocked. So one time a kid says, "Hey George, can I ask you a question?" And I put 9. I send 9 back, and they go, "What's that?" I said, "Dicks your mom can fit in her mouth."
So you say you're observing the Lenten holiday, are you?
Yes.
No, because hey man,
Lenten.
get them or they'll get you.
Yeah. Well done. Oh God. All right. Next. Yeah. Let's go next.
Hi, George. My name is Rose, and I'm from the San Fernando Valley. And I just wanted to know, how did you become el más chingón? Like, that's one of my biggest questions I've been wanting to ask you. All right. Have a nice day. Bye.
Well, I'm from the San Fernando Valley. I just think, how does anybody become? We're in the clubs. I mean, we met when there really wasn't anything going on.
Yeah. I mean, you're king of the clubs. I mean, you're killing it, but you weren't
Hard
TV
work.
star at that time. But you're crushing it in the clubs. So
you have to work while other people are sleeping in order to be good at something.
Being Hispanic, did you have to work harder, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth. I mean, obviously, the work ethic is huge.
Well, there's
so
not-
George
there-
never sits.
Yeah, there's not a lot of.
That's it, isn't it, though? That's the success part, where people just expect it to fall in their lap. That doesn't happen very often,
No.
Yeah, there's no that whole lucky thing is like.
Nobody gets,
Yeah.
nobody lasts 20 years and gets lucky. So, I mean, whatever. I mean, what it comes, internet trolls, I think we just say it comes with the territory.
And when was the first time the name was thrown around? El Más Chingón.
Ah, that's a good one. Maybe in the last, 2012, I think.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah.
Because we got Chingon in the 2006-7. We didn't really use Chingon on the talk show. I think Mas Chingon came after 12, 14, almost a TV Land show, that Lopez show.
Okay. Yeah.
You've had a few shows, actually, too.
The late night one was so fun.
The late night
It was
one was
such a fun show.
Was fun.
They were all
Is
fun.
that
I mean,
the
the
one
late
you
night
had
show was a
Prince on and
blast.
stuff like that?
Yeah,
Yes.
Could imagine.
yeah. Kobe and
Kobe
yeah.
came on, and Kobe didn't do anything once the season started, and just great moments, man. Like John Popper, Blues Traveler,
Oh, yeah.
was there, and he was on, and then afterwards he comes into the green room. He's got that vest with all the harmonicas, and I said, "Hey, are you the greatest harmonica player in the world?" He goes, "Yes, I am," and he pulls one out and plays and gives it to me. I still have it. And then we were drinking shots of tequila. And then I drove, I rolled, I had to go over Cahuenga into Hollywood. I lived on Nichols Canyon. And I drove where the Hollywood Bowl goes on Cahuenga. I made a right. I thought I was going up my street. It actually ended up in the fucking Hollywood Bowl.
Oh my God! All right,
I said,
I almost broke my neck. Oh man, that's
but I don't do that anymore.
All right.
And then I would always see the dude that was Jesus. Remember the guy, the Jesus guy that was walking in the middle of the night with the robe and the sandals? And he passed a few years ago in Hollywood.
He would
There
walk
was a
up,
guy that was like Jesus.
walk up Hollywood Boulevard, right?
I used to live right by the Hollywood Bowl too. I'm kind of trying to remember that guy.
It was a guy that was, he's famous in videos. He had the shroud, he had a beard, long hair, he had sandals. And we go, Jesus! And we wait. The fuck with a Jesus.
Remember that guy Dennis McKinnon or something? Dennis something, the guy
That
who
guy
had
too?
that car that
Yeah.
he was trying to be
Yeah.
an actor. It was always like his resume on his car. That guy was around forever.
Oh.
And then the dude that played Superman passed away.
Yeah.
And then on the talk show, he didn't have any teeth in the front, and we were going to get a dentist to give him teeth, and then we were videotaping him, and he went on this racist rant, and we pulled his teeth.
So you took him right
I said,
back.
fuck you.
I took those teeth right back.
You can kiss that fucking bicuspid goodbye, fucking Superman.
Right, you can have black ones. You just can't have white ones. You're racist. Hey, we're back, and we were with Frosty Silva, the greatest.
He really
stunt
is, man. I
performer
mean,
in the world, yeah.
he's, if I felt uncomfortable with maybe doing a show somewhere I knew I maybe wasn't a draw, so I could say, I'm going to pass. But Frosty's in a business where if you pass, they question your heart, question your integrity, your courage. If you go, I don't know.
Absolutely. They don't allow you. It's not really allowed. Well, it's weird. The new stunt guys, they will say no. But they're put in a position where they shouldn't have been doing that gag anyway. You know what I mean? They're the great great guys that could do all these tricks.
But you know what I think when you said you started as a PA and all that, and then you end up doing these amazing stunts. But a lot of people might not have gone down that road. They might have said, "Oh, I'm gonna do a PA and I'll drive a little bit, but I'm not gonna do that." And you were all in, huh?
I wanted to be a stuntman. That's all I wanted to do. And I knew it. Like I had my days to join the guild, to be an AD. I could have gone art. I was doing every other department just to work, just to pay my rent. And I just kept working. I wanted to be a stuntman, so I turned everything down. I finally I did a commercial, and it earned me a bunch of money, and it allowed me to quit everything else and just say I'm a stuntman.
Oh, so it gave you some freedom.
Gave me a touch of freedom, and it was like $20,000. But it was enough for me to just say, I can stop doing anything else and just say I'm a stuntman and just be a stuntman.
So you've been in the business for how long?
Nearly 30 years. Yeah.
Man,
PAing on
blows.
Fresh Prince, PAing on In the House.
How did you get the job as a PA on Fresh Prince?
I worked on a morning kids show called Name Your Adventure, and it was via my brother's girlfriend that got me the connection with the producer. I did a commercial one day, and I didn't know a clue. I'd never been in the business, didn't know anything, and I became the second AD on this Body by Jake commercial.
Oh,
and all I remember
yeah, of
are there were
course.
just beautiful girls in workout outfit. I'm like, this is an amazing career.
Yeah.
I might do this the rest of my life. And then I felt like it was a trap, because at the end of it, the girls are like, "Oh, you were so great. We should hang out sometime." And I'm like, "Oh, that's the trap. That's the trap. The producers are watching this, and then you'll never work again." So then I just backpedaled. No, I got to be over here. And, you just get nervous about producers.
I think it's almost, it's stuntman, but it's really kind of daredevilish stuff. It's daredevil stuff.
Well, it's calculated. That's the thing. We do rehearse and we calculate everything we do. I mean, there's things that are risky, and it is a stunt for a reason. But
So let's say when a writer's writing a scene, let's talk about one you did for Bourne, Jason Bourne, because I love those movies. When a writer is writing, he writes that the girl gets shot, the car goes in the water, they go underneath, he's under the water, he lets her go, and he goes back up, right?
a lot of
Are they assuming that that's something that somebody would be able to do, or do they figure that out later?
They a lot of the time they as they're writing it, sometimes they, if it's obviously in a story, and they do give you all the details of what is one thing, but a lot of the time they just the car goes off the edge, goes in the water, and then they move forward past the story onto what's going on next, and it's up to the stunt coordinator and the second unit director to design what that entails, the car going off the edge, what goes on with that car, with the people inside that car, how their bodies react when it hits the water. All those little details are left for us to design and come up with. And then we'll work with effects and we'll work with the other departments and make it happen pretty much.
I remember on my talk show, I had Liam Neeson on, and they were like, "Oh, Liam Neeson's, he's a tough interview." So we watch a movie, and he's in the back seat, he's underwater. It's him. So I said, I noticed that, when I saw the movie, you were in the back seat, you're underwater. What was that like? And he goes, "It was fucking scary." Everybody started laughing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because you're like, "What the fuck?" He's like, how do you think it was, motherfucker? They're like, "Action! I'm underwater."
Oh, they're great.
Yeah.
And he was a tough interview, they said, but then like that, you just, it just kind of loosens everybody up.
Because he's out of his element anyway. He was telling you about how he is.
Was he easier after you cracked the
it was
joke?
very
Broke
cool.
him up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very cool.
So I've had a ton of friends who want to be stuntmen. They all went to stunt school. Did you go to stunt school?
No, there's
I didn't
there's
think
an
so.
old way of thinking of that,
Yeah.
right? Guys who run stunt schools often aren't working because if you're working, you don't have time to run a school. You know what I mean? And so, specialty schools, maybe like a driving sort of thing, maybe you could do that. But no, you can't run a stunt school. And the things they teach you in stunt school are...
Remember that one Joey Chicknick? What was his name? Joey Chick.
Joey. What was that name? He had a
Chick
funky
Joey.
name like
He had a stunt school. Joey Chick.
Yeah. That's why I asked.
Oh.
Because you have these
Chickmunk.
friends that go, I went to stunt school, and I don't know if that's like what you gotta do.
Yeah, no, I know
Or-
guys have done it. They're always in like Washington or in some
Yeah.
far off place that you'd actually have to pay a lot of money to go to that school.
So you never like you just
no.
got
I just
got
did
in there.
martial arts and I trained different stuff. And then
So-
being around the business PAing, you kind of learn just how people maneuver with their departments,
Uh-huh.
And so I'd talk to the stunt guys every time that way. And
Yeah, so they don't like when they hire you as a stuntman, they go, he's done this, he's done that, he's like, look at him fly through that window kind of thing. I mean, it's kind of like chicken before the egg type thing. You got to be a made man already to get a job, right?
you just have to kind of there's like a swagger when it comes to stunt people. You know what I mean? You know who's, that guy will go for it.
It's
That-
Joey
that-
Chitwood
Oh,
Stunt
nice.
School.
Oh my gosh, well done. That's a great, yeah.
And you know what? It's almost the equivalent of getting a degree from fucking Count College. All right. When Frosty and I met at the Chateau Marmont, he told me this incredible story of a stunt that he did. Are you comfortable telling that time?
Sure, if I know what it is.
The
I'll come back to you.
where you
Oh,
got
yeah,
the
that
one
memory
where-
thing.
The one where you got cut
Cutting.
in the stomach.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah,
I won't play the guitar. This
I did.
This is a fat. I mean, this guy right here is flesh and bones like us.
Yeah.
But he really is something beyond that. I mean, you look at somebody like I think that's one of the things maybe that kept us like friends is I just have so much respect for you
Thank you.
as a person and what you've gone through, and knowing that it hasn't been easy, but knowing also that it's easier to just say it's a wrap, but you stayed in the business. And I think coordinating is good because you've put your time in. As in the military, you start as a private, you go and you get the bars and the stripes and stuff, and you've definitely earned your stars and stripes.
Thank you.
But the first night we met, I'd never really met anybody like Frosty, and 10 or 11 years later, here we are. So.
Yeah, I that was a new wound at that point too. When we were talking about it, it was pretty fresh.
yeah.
I think it happened 12 years ago now. So, yeah, it was pretty fresh. I did some TV show, and I normally just do features. I don't really do television, and so I did a TV show, and I won't say it was just some crappy show, but everyone was like super powered vampire type people, and so I got thrown into a pillar. And the idea was this vampire super strength chucks me into a pillar, and I hit the pillar and just fly off, hit a table and fall to the ground. But the table and everything were out of frame. So cool, I just hit the pillar. Yeah, I'll do that. We test it. We come to film it the day, and the director's like, I love that. Do you mind if we stick with you? And I'm like, no, it's fine. I mean, I'm just going to hit a table. Can you smash through that table? And I'm like, well, it's a real table. No.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can give it a go, but I lose a lot of my energy on that pillar. So by the time I come off the pillar and I hit the table's just going to rock over. It's not going to smash. Well, what if we score it? Yeah, you could score it. I'll give it a go.
And scoring it is
Yes, for like special effects where they cut it, weaken it, make it softer, easier to break through. But on a real table, and when
That's like Brian's hymen.
Yeah. It's very scored. It's ready to blow.
but hasn't broken yet.
I just am that much big of a loser.
What you pay is that where we popping your cherry in here?
Cherry.
All right, sorry.
We lost it for a second there.
I enjoy it, so I can listen to you guys all day. So the director's like, okay, we'll score it. And when they score it in crosses, basically. So sadly, at a point on a wooden table, it leaves the very jagged point. And you wear a body harness when they launch you because you attach the wire to your body harness. So I had a full harness on. When I went through the table, I did smash it, but a piece of the wood went under my harness and from hip bone to hip bone gutted me pretty much. So, and I knew we had one real table, so I was kind of ahead of it, and I was already annoyed that this gag was going to happen this way anyway. So I do it, I get cut up, I don't say a word, I just stand up, and they're like, you good? I give a thumbs up, yeah, I'm good. They're like, great, we got that. You can go get out of your harness. So I go to my trailer, get out of my harness, and I put a wrap around my waist, and I just kind of cinch it down so you can't tell, and I go walking back to set. And they're like, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. They're like, well, we got that. You can go home. And I'm like, awesome. So I just took off. I went home. And I sat down on this chair I used to sit in at my house. And I fell asleep. I never went to a doctor. I fell asleep. And then when I woke up, it tore back open. Oh. So I did call a doctor because I didn't want to tell anyone. So I called a doctor in Beverly Hills, figuring they know what they're doing. And it was the C-section sort of thing. I'm like, so hypothetically, if a man got a C-section, could you close that up? And the doctor's like, I don't know what you're saying, sir. Say hypothetically I got cut from hip bone to hip bone. Could you close that up? Sir, you'd have to come in. So I went in, he sewed me up. And,
but it was all the way, way.
Oh, yeah, it opened me up.
But Frosty, your guts were hanging out.
Well, no. I mean, it cut.
Torn.
Nothing. Yeah, it was ripped. I mean, I was bleeding pretty good, but it wasn't. Nothing was pouring out of me like bits and pieces. And I kept myself kind of with this wrap around me anyway.
Oh, man.
So I
How many staples?
No, that one. Unfortunately, I had a little bit of time off after that gag, and I had I think it was like 100 and some odd stitches, and
oh my god.
I didn't tell anyone, so I kept working. I kept trying to do as much as I could with this weird little girdle thing on, and
God, man,
incredible. And he showed me the scar, and I was tripped out.
Yeah, it's an ugly scar. Doctor in Beverly Hills didn't do a very good job.
Yeah, he didn't like brush it down at all.
Are you prepared to show us the scar?
I could show you guys the scar.
Hell yeah.
I don't know about national TV.
Okay. Yeah, you don't. Okay. Yeah. But it was something that I just thought, I mean, to be cut from hip bone to hip bone and not say anything.
Yeah.
And is.
But it's funny. Yeah, obviously you're that ilk of person, but knowing that it's like a real table, you weren't into the whole thing. You kind of smelled trouble already, right? So
yeah, I've had enough experience to know, in the sense like this isn't a great gag, but sadly a lot of time on television they rush through things just because they have to, just for their time frames. Yeah. You know, there's no choice of it. But I knew it wasn't gonna. It just had a vibe to it that it wasn't gonna go.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you coming down and doing this. You had the option to do a Skype, came down. I appreciate your friendship. I love you as my brother.
Me too,
even though we don't see each other, this was awesome to spend this time with you. And you, I fucking see all the time.
Seriously, Frosty, that's so interesting. I mean, before we started this, the stories were amazing to me.
Do you think you'll remember any of this tomorrow after your second
Absolutely
break?
not after I finish this one. It's all gone. I just know I owe somebody 5 push-ups.
One time so when he drinks, he gets blacked out like after 2 beers. And one time we were in Chicago and we were drunk, and then this guy got in my face and I was gonna fight. And the next day I said, "Man, I can't believe that dude was gonna fucking kick my ass." And you go, "What? When?" I said, "You were standing right next to me." All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in to Oh My God Hi with myself. Thank you, Frosty, for being the guest.
Thank you guys.
Brian,
Thanks for having me.
Colero with a big note. Listen, everybody, thanks for listening. Tell all your friends wherever you get a podcast, Apple, Spotify.
If you want to ask George any question that's on your mind, ask him for any advice, it's 818-533-1843.
So thank you, everybody, for listening to Oh My God Hi on All Things Comedy. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.